This is the future.
I think I have the most difficult task after two eminent speakers who spoke very well, right? I'm going to bore with a lot of technology. So bear with me. I have about 25 slides. I never thought, and I'm going to present next to these speakers. But yeah, the topic is so interesting. I'll try to keep it as light as possible. I represent HPE from the leader of HP Compute, Storage, HP Electra, and HP Aruba. With this, I'm not going to talk about the infrastructure. Today, the topic I'm going to talk about the cyber data security, what HP does it so significantly unique in the market. So I try to keep it about 10 to 15 minutes. How much time do I have? 15? All right. Okay, thank you. So if you see, HP acquired this company called Zeto about 3 years ago. What we do so significantly different from others in the market. The real-time protection meets real-time detection. When we say real-time, what does it mean? So you have, since morning, we've been talking about the cyber security, how the hackers are coming. There is the multiple layers of security that I've put across. So, but I'm trying to focus on the security in the NIST framework. At the end, how do you recover rapidly? Okay, we understand, okay, there is going to be a series of hackers. The bad cops is going to be there. There is going to be a lot of systematic approach for this. But even if there is, how quick that we can able to recover from this incident. If there is a blast, what is the radius of the blast? What time the blast has happened, we can able to recover in just seconds. That's the topic. So I'm not going to talk about the first few, the framework, agreed, but I'm going to spend time on the last part of the NIST framework, how I'm able to recover if there is an attack. And not even there's an attack, how quick, how rapid that I'm able to bring the data up so that we have our data available so that we start our business as quick as possible. That's the discussion that I'm going to have. With this, let me start. All right, okay. Since most of you, I want to talk about this because you guys know much better what's happening on the real world in ransomware. The biggest challenge that we hit in ransomware is we don't know where the blast radius is. We go back to the data, we try to figure out which is the clean data, and we're going to bring the clean data up for our application and make our business running. Do we have an ability to understand where is the blast radius is? Can I get this blast radius as quick as possible? How do I detect these in line? If I'm able to detect this blast radius in line, I have a lot of answers to solve from applications so that we can say to ransomware guys, go fly a kite. That's the key point here, to understand how do we do that, how do we protect our application, how do we protect application continuously. The applications can be on-prem, applications can be in the cloud, or a combination. Do we have solutions for us to understand this, protect our data, so that we can able to get this recovery quick so that we are protected always. So some of things which I have put across, there is the evolving threat, the slow recovery, there has been a catch-22 situation, what to do. And the last is stay compliant, because the compliance protect us. It's for the individual as for the organization, we need to stay compliant with certain what the industry's standards are. With this, if you move across, what does the software does? This is the software, its ability to run on any x86 platform on a virtualized application. So most of today, 99% of our applications are virtualized applications. But these virtualized applications are in on-prem as well as in cloud or in the edge. How do you protect these applications? The first thing what we say is, when you hit a ransomware, are you able to recover in seconds? And second, how rapidly that you are able to recover. It's just not I got to protect how quick I'm going to come back for our business. It's okay, you got a hit, figure out, come back with the applications on. That's the key one. The second, Atul sir also spoke about the importance of disaster recovery and the continuous data protection for the applications. We need to have a disaster recovery plan, the business continuity plan for all the critical applications that we are running. The third, of course, the world is hybrid, and there is a movement of data between the on-prem and the cloud to on-prem. This particular software solves all the three problems. But I have today as a topic, I'll spend more time on the ransomware resilience, the cyber resilience that we're going to talk about. If there is any questions, I can take one or two. The further we can do it on the networking dinner. But on the cyber resilience, what all we do? This is the framework that we operate on. The framework which we operate on in this first is replicate, detect. While you replicate from one site to another site, we detect in line. If the block is being encrypted by a malicious thing, we inline detect it. It's just not we replicate it, and after that you do a postmortem effect to figure out so many scans and stuff like that. Yeah, it takes days and months. What we do is, when we replicate, we detect. We have the algorithms to figure out why there is a sudden change in the block. When the block pattern was having a certain pattern, why suddenly it's changed. So what does it do? While it detects, it creates an alert, and the alerts has been fed into this your security system to have an investigation. So that's what we call the blast radius. So we figure out the blast radius where it is, and we do continuously inline. The second most important is, okay, when you replicate, you isolate. You have to isolate. You have to keep it complete in isolation from the regular production data to a data where you want to isolate. So you have to isolate and as well as lock it. There are mechanisms that we have to do this. We call it as cyber vault. We create a vault. You put all your critical application data into a vault which is completely does not touch the internet at all. Physically, you have to go to that particular rack and see and how can you touch that. So we create a separate cyber vault. Today, the discussion which is happening on the cyber insurance, this is one part of it, but are we taking a cyber vault? We protect your data completely against the internet. You keep the clean data, or we call it as a clean room. We keep the data in the clean room. The third important is test. Just not putting in the cyber vault, just not putting the data in a very secure place. Are we regularly testing it? We need to do that. Unless until you do this entire system in a very systematic way, you get protected. So the software, can you give it to the software? It's not a one-time software that you put it and you're done with it. No, it is a very continuous process. You replicate, detect, you isolate and lock and test and recover. And you do this continuously. That's why we're going to say we are resilient. This does not come by one-time activity. It's a continuous continuous effort, and there is a continuous evolution on this so that we protect. We've been resilient against the cyber attacks. So this is the framework. I don't want to go much deeper in technology, but yeah, this is exactly what happens. Generally, people do have on a cyber attack, what happens is you don't know when the attack has happened. I do all the respect of the people on the NIST framework. There is a multiple layers of security, things that put in the identification, so many things. But still the attack has happened. We don't know when the attack has happened. And you have a data protection, which we don't know what the data is, whether it is clean or infected data is already inside. Then the process starts you to identify where is the blast has happened. Hence, you see the most of the time that we spend time to figure out which time the attack has happened, which is the clean data, where you can able to take the data, have the application so the business is up and running. So here what we play in HP here in the Z2 product is to figure out where is the blast radius is. To do this blast radius on a simplest, I'll just skip this. What we do here is we continuously protect every write from application data, I put it onto a journal. So every time there is a write happening, I keep putting onto the journal. In the journal, I create every 5 seconds, I create a checkpoint. Simple logic, I create a checkpoint so that I know if there is a checkpoint at 9 o'clock and I have a blast radius that happened at 8:55, I can go back to 8:40, just recover the clean data and give it up. That's how do we do that? We do it in a much, I'm putting it in a very simplistic way, but multiple technology behind it. How do we protect it? How do you write it? And this is what we protected. You can replicate it on-site, you can replicate in different site, or you can replicate in cloud. You can do all the permutation combination. This is what we do significantly different. So now if I go back to here, this is your protection site. I replicate on an alternate site. While I do a replication, I detect if there is a block gets encrypted. It's basically if there is a malicious activities have happened. If there is a difference in the pattern, I alert to the security system. I keep them aware about the blast radiuses. This is one. Further, what we do is we can move this data to a vault. We move to a vault, completely isolate from the world, lock it. We just open it at a periodic interval so the data flows, and again we lock it. That is completely not exposed to any internet at all. You keep this protection always available, and we request for every day, take a portion of it, test it, whether it is clean room available or not. This is against your cyber insurance. The fraction of amount that we goes for the cyber insurance, if you're able to put across to have a vault in your sector, in your data center, you protect against most of it. So that's what we call it as being resilient against this cyber attacks. We can implement this in a very significant, in a smooth way. We come as a service, or we can come as a capital expenditure for the customer. So this is the whole philosophy of this, the Z2, which we acquired it. We give it as a service, or we can give it as a software which you can implement in your network. I'll pause here if there is any questions before we proceed to the next stage. Is there any questions? All right. This is one thing I just want to quickly touch upon. Even in the cyber resilience, the two things comes very, very important. Are we testing our applications, whether we do a mock drill or a live drill or a partial drill or a full drill? To our survey that we have seen, we have not tested the drill at the full capacity. 90% of customers has only of doing a mock drill and a partial drill. When there is an incident happens, unfortunate incident happens, are we ability to move to an alternative site at what time? Do we have a time thing saying like, I'm able to move all my application to an alternate site at 8 hours or 16 hours or 24 hours? Because we don't do the DR at scale. We do DR at partial. Here we do, you have to test all your applications at DR at scale. The best thing that we will say to it, when there is an incident happens, do you need to have a multiple clicks, or you want to do with a minimal number of clicks that you were able to do a DR? Because when you are in panic, you cannot do too many things. You have to have minimalistic clicks to enable your alternate site coming up. It can be natural disaster or a ransomware attack, at what time, at how quick that we are able to bring these applications at the DR site. So that's what this software is mastered on. We encourage any of you interested, yes, we can further have a discussion. We can show a lot of the software on demand for you. We run it across your network and see how we are resilient against these cyber attacks. So with this, let me complete my conversation. I'm here for some time. We can have a further more discussion on this. Thank you so much.